I think we were discussing, okay, we were discussing the matrix mechanics. So very important concept we have actually stated. So let us write one expression for a matrix, then we'll discuss. So I think we have taken, let me write these two matrices and then we'll talk. So X operator, so this is half minus 16 over 9 pi square, 0 minus 32 over 225 pi square, and then half minus 48 over 25 pi square, 0. So this is, and then 1, 2, 3. So this is half minus 96 over 49 pi square, again this, and again this. I'm not writing this. So obviously I did not write here, 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 here. What is this? X. And what is this? This is the representation of the X operator. This X is an operator. We have said that operators and eigenvectors will be represented by matrices. Eigenvector, just recapitulation, those of you who have difficulty or if you have just forgotten or whatever. So you can represent the eigenvectors as column matrix, okay? And operator is represented by a square. So this is the representation of an operator called X. When you have a representation automatically means you have a basis, because without the basis, representation doesn't mean anything. So if you represent the X operator in another basis, it will have a different matrix. Why? Because these things are nothing but your operator, and if I chose a basis function, a basis set, say psi n. Psi n is my basis, okay? Let us write psi is the normal psi, so this is my basis. So in this basis, what are these things? These things are nothing but the matrix elements in this basis psi m of the operator O, which is in this case X. So these are nothing but just those integrals, psi 1. What are those psi 1s? Psi n's are, as we said in the previous class, 0 to 1. I have taken the length of the box. So it's a particle in a box, 1D box wave function. Root over 2 by a sin n pi x over L. Okay, so it should be clear. We can do these calculations, but you see, you have also read in a box wave function, eigenfunction of the X operator. Do you remember, or do you have a way to answer this question? Anybody can answer? These are the questions which will test your understanding of quantum mechanics. Who do you see the question? The question is that is the X operator an eigenfunction of the basis function, which is your particle in a box wave function. Is this an eigenfunction of the X operator? Answer is not. Okay. Okay. How do I say that? Even if you did not know that answer, you could answer from looking at this matrix. How can I say that? Because this matrix is not a diagonal matrix. If it is an eigenfunction of the operator, then it should be a diagonal matrix. Yesterday, in the previous class, we mentioned this. I mean, we'll do it a little more detail, but you should have picked it up. We are going to start from there. But I thought it was easy to pick it up from there. In the previous class, we showed that the eigenvalue matrix, so the Hamiltonian matrix, in this operator, what was those we showed? We showed you the dx square. Remember that exercise? Dx square, just before we finish the class, we showed that this was a diagonal matrix. You concluded that. Why? Because dx square is a matrix which is like your, apart from some constant, it is actually the Hamiltonian matrix of the particle in a box problem. So, by virtue of the relations between these basis functions which form a complete orthonormal set, it is very easy to prove that these are diagonal matrix. And now that your X operator, you see, is not a diagonal matrix, right? So, that means your X operator is not an eigenfunction of the particle in a box wave function. Remember, when you have so many matrices, so several operators, A, B, C, every time we have discussed this kind of stuff. If you have several operators which are commuting with each other, that means I have said that there is a complete set of common eigenfunctions which are shared by these operators. That means what? That means the space or the representation given by this eigenfunction will give a diagonal matrix for all these operators. That means if my basis function is this psi1, this psi n, right? So whatever operator, so let us call these are particle in a box wave function basis, right? So I have a Hamiltonian corresponding to that. If there is any other operator which commutes with this Hamiltonian, you can easily do that, which operator commutes with this Hamiltonian. We have done this exercise. So if you find that operator which commutes with this Hamiltonian, that means that operator's representation, just like your Hamiltonian, also has to be diagonal in that basis. That is the way it is. Okay. So the X operator is, you can see that. Now there are very interesting stuff. So you see X operator, if you do this, psi1 o psi2, psi2 o psi1, you see, I did not write this because now you see, if you do X and X dagger, what will be the X dagger in the matrix form? Who can say that? Suppose I want to write X dagger. What will be the representation? Can anybody say? What will be the representation in that matrix form in this basis? So X operator we have worked out by this exercise. Now X dagger operator means what? What is the meaning of X dagger operator? Who can say? You can write in the chat box if you wish. What is the meaning of X dagger? Rows become column and column become rows. And so it is transpose. It is called transpose. Complex conjugate transpose. That's nice. 3 iteration, the answer becomes correct. So complex conjugate transpose, that means what? You have to take the transpose of this matrix with the complex conjugate, but these are all real numbers. So if you take complex conjugates, they will just remain as it is. Now you make the rows, you make the transpose. Transpose means your rows become columns, columns become rows, right? So in order to have that happen, you do not have to write this to see what is going on. If you just understand that, I will ask another question. Is the X matrix, is the X operator Hermitian or not? Can somebody say? Is the X operator, is the X operator Hermitian? Because you have started your quantum mechanics by the word Hermitian. So let us understand what it means. So is the X operator Hermitian? Yes. So if that is very nice, Sanjay. So if that is the case, then you see that you really do not need to work out X dagger. If Hermitian itself means complex conjugate transpose, it has to happen. So that means the X dagger matrix will remain exactly same. That is what you have said. So X is equal to X dagger. And how is it happening? Because now you can write, so X, this will be X 16 by 9 pi square, you can verify it. And then this will be 0. And this is minus 48 over 25 pi square, that kind of stuff. So you can see that your X is actually, X dagger is actually X matrix. Is that clear? So we say that X and X operator is Hermitian, and the same thing is also going to happen to your H Hamiltonian matrix, because it is a diagonal matrix with the real numbers. If you do complex conjugate transpose, it will give you the same matrix, right? So now, interestingly, if I write it, so I wrote it X dagger X. Okay, let us see if I do this. Suppose I do this. I do this X dx. I can do this. I can write. This is also a valid operator. So I can do by. Okay. So what is the representation of X dagger X dx operator? This is minus half. You should work it out. Minus 4 over 3. Minus 4 over 3. 3 over 4. And minus 8 over 15. Okay, this is 4 by 3. Minus half. Minus 12 over 5. 4 over 3. Minus 3 over 4. 12 over 5. Minus half. And minus 24 over 7. And then 8 over 15. Minus 4 over 3. This is 15. 24 by 7. Minus half. So this is, how did I get all this stuff? I just took the X dx operator here and took the same basis. So these are all in the same basis of particle in a box wave function. Okay, so this is my X dx. Now I want to write dxx in the same basis. Remember, the basis is always same. So we have just chosen that basis for our purpose. You can choose another basis. So dxx, can you tell me what is going to happen? Can you tell me what is going to happen? happen? Of course, you can always take this to work it out, like you did it with x dx and dx x. You can do that. But is there any other way to do it? That's what is my question. Is there any other way to do it? Is the question clear? I have said, I have written x dx in this representation, particle in a box. Let us give particle in a box representation. I asked you, what is dxx? What would you say? Let us see who understands stuff. But it is very simple. You just have to.
So the commutator of x and dx ka commutator is -1.
Very good.
We can simply say x dx minus dx x equals -1, and then so we can shift it out, and then basically diagonal values will be subtracted by -1.
So just tell me, yeah, absolutely right, absolutely right. So x dx dx x commutator is -1, right? So that means I just have to write my dx x such that x dx minus dx x becomes -1, right? So how does that happen? Just tell me the elements by elements. So what should be happening?
-3/2, sir.
No.
Wait. I messed up with the.
This. So what has to happen is that this minus this. That is actually this, right? This should have give you -1. Now what is -1?
-1 diagonal, like a matrix with all diagonals -1 and everything else 0.
Very good. That's right. A matrix whose, so this is not a just number. This is a matrix, right? And as you said, so that means you have to make it such that only the diagonals become -1. The rest will be 0, right? Okay. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So what should be my elements? You just now tell me.
Like half.
Okay.
And then same thing, -4/3. Oh. And then 3/4, -8/15, and then same thing. Like except for the diagonals, everything are the same. All the diagonals are half.
So just change the sign, right? Okay.
Yes.
Is that clear to everybody? You see that there are, you need to think these things. Okay. सब लोग तुम जानते हो जे x dx commits with a -1, right? But when it comes to the application, it is little bit problematic. But that's why I wrote this stuff. So you can do this dxx here and to get those numbers. But if you are smart, you know that x dx commutator is -1. So obviously this process is much easier than writing out all the matrix elements. Is it clear to everybody? Then we can move for the next stuff. Is it clear? Please write in the chat box. Okay. And I want you to write one more stuff before we go to the yes sir, nobody says no. Okay, that's very good to see. So okay, you understood the representation. You know, quantum mechanics is a fear factor for a lot of people. I am trying to make it as simple as possible. Okay, so that's why I am writing this in the board, all the things. So you understood that how to see the hermiticity from the matrix. You understood how to look at the commutators from the matrix notation, right? They has to follow. If you change the basis, is it going to change? If you are going to change the basis, suppose I take another basis, not particle in a box. Suppose I take particle in a finite box. If it can be basis, I take a sin x basis or some eigenvalue solution of some other systems. Okay, say I take some other functions solution instead of this kind of function, right? This was your particle in a box. Suppose I choose this function, right? It doesn't matter, but as long as it is coming from the solution of a Schrodinger equation with a complete basis, I can choose that basis also to understand this. So what will happen? My matrix elements will be all very different because your basis has changed. But the basic conclusion that you saw, that X operator is Hermitian, that cannot change from basis to basis. That x dx minus dx is equal to -1, that cannot change from basis to basis. You must have to get the same numbers back. Samjhe? So that is why when you wrote that what is the commutator between px and x, did you mention about any basis? You did not, because this is going to happen always. But you can see that why is it happening. Okay. Now you can see the dx square operator. What is the representation of dx square operator? In the previous class we wrote, right? So dx square will be just minus pi square, minus 4 pi square, minus 9 pi square, that kind of stuff, because it is a diagonal matrix. So I understood very interesting concept, which is going to be my next reading. What is that? Let us see carefully this. So I have understood that the matrix representation of an operator, let us write this statement, matrix representation of an operator in the basis of its own eigenvectors is diagonal. This is a remarkable, this is a very diagonal. It has numerous consequences, so understand this carefully. What it says, matrix representation of an operator in the basis of its own eigenvectors. Very simple statement, but you have to think. So, and that is what I see when I wrote H, I got a diagonal matrix. You have verified. In this basis, I got a diagonal matrix, right? What does it mean? This is exactly what is meant by this statement. So, matrix representation of an operator H in the basis of its own eigenvectors. I have chosen the basis functions carefully, the particle in a box, right? So matrix representation of an Hamiltonian in the basis of its own eigenstates, that means the particle in a box, is a diagonal. And when I do this with X operator, that's why you need to see that X, when I did write C, the X operator did not become diagonal. You had elements. You had non-diagonal elements, okay, right? So that means it was not diagonal. Why? Because you have chosen a basis. That particle in a box basis is not an eigenfunction of the X operator. Samjhe? So, is it clear? This is a very important concept. You cannot have confusion about this kind of stuff. So any other operator which is not an eigenvector of that basis, if the basis is not an eigenvector of that operator, the matrix is not diagonal. Okay? Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Let us, if you have any question, please raise it. Or any comments, please write in the chat box. If you cannot generate questions, that's very, that is something that you should worry. You know, a researcher has to generate questions. If you do not generate question, then there is no research. Then there is no research project. So please generate some questions, okay? Good, bad, doesn't matter. Have some questions, okay? Okay. Let us just go a little bit now. I think it is better to now formalize this. So we have said what is basis, but and just spend little bit time so that we can make it general. You know, particle in a box is not the only basis in the world. Neither it is the one that you are going to use it for practical purposes. So we need to discuss a little more about it. So basis and representation. This will be more or less a roundabout way of discussing what we have discussed, but that will give you another view. Okay. So we are going to say that, so you can have many representations of a problem. First of all, that means what? And what is that representation? So in a given representation, let us write this statement. So in a given representation, say X representation. Or A representation. What is the meaning of a representation? When you say something, you know, like fourth year class, you said that you are writing to some place, say for example, your summer project or winter project or something, you know, some intern or some PhD position or whatever. You have said that I am now in the fourth year. The moment you say that fourth year in chemistry in India, more or less it gives some idea that what kind of things you can be expected to know. It may vary from student to student, institute to institute, but there is still some general idea. Okay. So the moment you say that there is a representation, it automatically gives you certain things in your hand. Right? What is that? Let me write a statement. So in a representation, states are referred to a basis consisting of eigenfunctions of the eigenfunctions of A operator. This is what as simple as this. That means the moment you said X representation, you say Y representation, A representation, the name of the representation. That means in X representation, there are states. That means all the quantum mechanical problem will be discussed keeping the states of the X operator in mind. And the eigenstates of that operator form a basis. Okay. And what we'll see that is that, so the states are referred to a basis. States means what? The eigenfunctions of the A operator or X operator. Those eigenfunctions of the A or X operator are called states. And these states, the collection of states, the complete set of states is going to be referred as a basis. Very simple. Let us see what is the next thing. Next thing is that in this, remember these are very general, there is no mention of hydrogen atom, there is no mention of particle in a box, there is no mention of fluorine, there is no mention of CH4 molecule. These are true for everybody in this world. Okay. So now in this representation, that means in this basis, okay, I can always write the eigenvalue equation What is my eigenvalue equation? Eigenvalue equation, I can simply write A is equal to operator, say A is equal to A prime, A psi, H psi is equal to, sorry, A psi is equal to A psi. I can write an equation like this, right? So in this representation, the eigenvalue equation should be, we should be able to write the eigenvalue equation as a matrix equation. The states are going to be referred to as basis, and we have already said that the basis vectors can be represented by column matrix, operators can be written as square matrices. And so that means your operator, so the operator equation becomes your matrix equation. That is what is the essence of matrix mechanics. That means you transform the operator equation into a matrix equation, which is the real way to solve an eigenvalue equation of a quantum mechanical problem. Is that clear? So that means we are going to write operator equations in the form of matrix equations, and then going to take the tools of linear algebra to solve those equations for practical problems. Okay? So let us write a little bit more about certain basis functions, particle in a basis. So in the one-dimensional box problem, I have written a basis called particle in a box, right? But I can choose some other basis functions. Before I do that, so let us see. What is this? This is a space. What is space? तो है ही है, but this is a space of functions. So this is a function space. Okay, we can also call it a configuration. Okay, so this function space, what I want to do is that, so this is a function space. I have many functions, but I'm going to now discuss the basis in the arbitrary space. Okay, the basis for me is coming from the solution of an eigenvalue equation. Okay. So within this basis, within this space, so let this space be denoted by a symbol H. What is this? This is the whole space of function. Within this space of function or configuration, I am going to cut a slice. Okay? Just like your, cake. Okay? So let us say this. What is this? This particular set of functions. So this is another set of functions within the whole function space. This is just subset of the function space, which is going to be represented by the called B, the basis. It's a complete set of functions within subset of functions within the configuration space. Okay. Now what? Now, what is interesting to note is that, so there is any arbitrary function. So let there be a space of functions which is called H, and let there be a subset of functions within H which is to be called a basis. That means my interesting psi n. It can be particle in a box, or it can be several others. Okay. What it means is that now, in as much as B is a basis in H, as much as B is a basis in H, any arbitrary function psi any arbitrary function psi psi can be expanded so where is psi? That psi is somewhere here, right? So that psi can be represented as a sum of these basis functions as long as B is a subset of H and this guy belongs to the H. This is the only condition. Now let us, for practical purpose, what it means. What it means is that this is the problem. This is your experiment that you are doing. So suppose this is the fluorine atom. You want to solve the structure, or you want to solve the spectroscopy, or you want to look at the dynamics, or you want to do the chemical reaction or whatever. So this is your quantum mechanical system for which you have an H with appropriate terms in the Hamiltonian. Okay? That psi is, you need to take the help from some other guy. What is that? So this is a basis. How to choose a basis? What can be an appropriate basis? You can have discussion about that. But you can be sure that there is some basis in this world which I can use to solve this problem of psi, which is your unknown solution. So basis is a known set of functions in the subset of functions. Is that clear? So what I want to do is that now I want to write the operator equation as matrix equation. We have said that we will write, but we did not write. But before we write that, so let us see who can qualify as a basis. Suppose in the particle suppose for one-dimensional problem, I have written a basis, which is the particle in a box wave function. But if I have to, so my basis, one good set of basis was this. Root over 2 by a sine n pi x over a. This is a basis set. Many one-day problems in this world has been solved by taking this basis. Okay? But suppose I want to solve a three-dimensional problem, say linear, say suppose helium atom, suppose beryllium atom, or any other atom for that matter. So I can choose a good basis as hydrogen atom problem. So that means this can be my basis. So this is the basis. This constitute another set of basis. Now say suppose I want to take, just like your free particle in the 1D, it is not free, it is a constant particle. But if I solve the free particle problem in 3D, you should do that. I have not worked out, but you can work it out in your own. YLML. Of course, if it is a particle, free particle in 3D, you can see that your spherical harmonics is not going to change. As long as it is a spherically polar coordinates you are working, and the particle is free in 3D space. Only thing is that this function is going to be replaced by the Bessel function. So it's a matter of working out the details. You can just work out to find out this kind of stuff. But what is important to realize is that this also constitutes a basis. This also constitutes a basis. Right? So if I have to solve a three-dimensional problem in spherical polar coordinates, I can choose this as a basis and expand the unknown functions in this basis. Is that clear? Okay. So if I do that, now this is, ye to sab ho gaya. So can you tell me, before we go to the question, what will be, suppose I have this basis. Very easy questions for you. Let us think sometime. Suppose I take this basis. Okay. So can you tell me what is going to be the representations of these orbitals, these operators in this basis? Is the question clear? Quickly. What is the representation? Because every time you have a basis, you can represent the operator. Right? So what is the representation of the Hamiltonian in this basis? What is the representation of L square operator in this basis? What is the representation of LG operator in this basis? Can you tell me? Anybody has any idea? Who understands quantum mechanics? Everybody understands? Bolo?
Sir, the Hamiltonian should be a diagonal matrix with
Yeah.
the diagonals being the states we obtained.
Diagonals being the
States we obtained like 1s and then the states we obtained.
states तो नहीं है ठीक से बोले diagonal should be what? States means क्या? States means eigenfunction. What should be in the diagonal?
The eigenvalue, the energies.
Eigenvalues, exactly. And what will happen to L square?
Those will be only the eigenvalues of the L square operator. So
Is it going to be diagonal or not?
it is going to be diagonal, yes.
Very good. And LJ?
LG is also going to be diagonal.
Very good. So thank you. So that means if you, because it is true, because you have chosen the basis, which is which is going to give this function, these operators as diagonal. And not only this, because this guy commutes with all these operators, we have proved that many times. H L square LG, H LG, they commute with each other. That means matrix representation of all the operators in this particular basis is going to be diagonal with different eigenvalues. Eigenvalues are simple. You know that what will happen to H psi if you do this basis. So this is, let us call this psi. So this basis I can write psi N L M L, right? Simplicity, R theta phi. So you know that if you replace H by psi 1, L, etc., all these quantum numbers, basically you will generate 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, that kind of states. So if you operate H on that, what you will get? You will get the eigenvalues of the orbitals. If you operate L square on that, what you will get? We have already proved that you will get L into L plus 1 H cross square. And what you will get from LG? LG, if you operate on this, you will get nothing but M LH cross. So Sancha is very right. So this means if I take this as a basis, the representations of all these three operators, that means, so every time there is a commutator, that means all the operators are going to give you a diagonal matrix. Okay, very good. So now my job is very simple. Now let us see what is happening. I just now need to write so suppose psi n. I want to write psi 1 is equal to, say, my basis should be, this is my basis. Okay, let us not yet give the psi n. Psi अभी तक मत दो, ठीक है? And do not give psi. So so I have an arbitrary function psi. Remember that arbitrary function I wrote like this in that big picture. So that function I want to write is as a basis. So it is very simple. Psi is equal to, you have written an. It is as simple as that. Okay? Everybody, so that now I just want to do this. What is the definition of AN? What can I write for AN? So equal to, I want to write it like this. What is AN? What is the expression for AN? What is the expression for AN? Remember when we wrote this expression, F is equal to F1 psi 1 plus F2 psi 2 plus F3 psi 3. We found out an expression for F1. Remember? F1, F2, and Fn. We generalized that. What is that expression?
Psi 1 star F, psi n star F.
So, psi n, right? So, what is my an here?
It's psi n, like bra psi n and then ket psi.
Right? Is that correct? Everybody understands? Hello? So I have just used the definition of this, right, to write this expression. Now what it means? So what is the meaning? So now this is my unknown function and this is my basis. And these are the coefficients vectors for the projection. That means what is the meaning of this psi? So these coefficients, so these are actually the lifeblood of a calculation. Because if you change the basis, your coefficients are going to change. So as long as you have a basis, you have a coefficient set, right? The coefficient vectors are actually the lifeblood of your calculation. That means in every calculation, it is the coefficient matrix that you are going to calculate. That is what eventually is the solution of a Schrodinger equation means, right? So and this is my psi, this same psi, okay? I just wrote in the term of basis. So these are the projections. So we technically use the word projection. Projection of the function psi onto the basis space spanned by these functions. So this is a projection of the, sorry, this is, where is An? An actually is representing the projection of this psi in the basis space. That is what it means. That means whose contribution is how much, right? So now I'm curious to write this expression. Suppose, can you work it out now? Suppose I know psi is equal to f psi prime. So this is an operator, this is an eigenfunction, this is another eigenfunction. You operate f on this function to get psi. I want to write this in the matrix form. Okay, that is what. The very first thing that I do is this. Okay, the very first thing is that what is the next thing that I want to do is that I want to write this expression as, you can write f, like this. Maybe you can give this, just like we wrote here. I just wrote this, but I can also do this. Okay, I just expanded psi prime in an expression like this. That's only we have done. Nothing has been done. Nothing else has been changed. Okay. So now what you do is that you can multiply this both sides. You can multiply both sides by f. And then integrate. So please do this step yourself. So you do this here, psi q, psi, and you do this here, psi q, psi n. Okay, that is the only thing. So, but there is some idea you need. So let us see what is that. Psi q, psi. I can write. So I expect somebody to stand up and say, okay, can you do it? संचय बोल सकते हो या तो और कोई बोलो. Who wants to take the lead? So psi q, psi, okay, and do the integration. What will you get? So, okay, you need to take psi q in this. The only confusion is here. There is no confusion. Psi q should be taken here. Okay, if I just do this, what is going to happen in the left hand side and right hand side? What is in the left hand side? Nobody can say? Do I have to ask somebody? Can you please not write? Come on. Bolo Rohan. Adrija. Manish. Tahiti. Bolo. We are wasting time. I just want to finish this, What will happen to, what can I write for psi q f, psi q psi? What is this expression? That's all I get. What is the left hand side? Should I write? That is, इसको हम क्या लिख सकते हैं? Sanjay, what can we write for it?
So AQ, the qth coefficient in the qth system.
So AQ is equal to, what is in the right side? Summation n. So this is what? This is a
the average of yes.
Huh? What is your psi q and psi n? These are
okay. These are orthogonal. Like if n is not equal to q, but then
they are the, what are these called? Psi q, psi n called? They are the bases, right?
yes, sir.
Right? They are the bases. So you have an eigenstate over here, you have another eigenstate over here, juxtaposed, sandwiched an operator. What is this called? That is the matrix representation of the operator in the basis psi n. Isn't it? Huh? So what should I write? So I should write F Q N. And what is this guy to be called? How can I give, just like in the left hand side I wrote something, what should I write for psi n psi prime?
A n star, like A n dash.
Bolo? A? Nobody can write this in the chat box? Then it looks like there is nothing is happening in the class, Psi AQ is equal to AF QN AN prime. What it means? It means that you have written an operator. So if you just write the first line and the last line, forget about the intermediate steps. Now you forget about the intermediate steps. So you started with this equation and you landed up here. So that means you actually have written a operator equation into a matrix equation because these are all matrices. This is a matrix now. This is a matrix now. This is a matrix now. What kind of a matrix is this? AN. Remember when we represented the function in the form of F1, this function, in the form of f1 psi 1 x plus f2 psi 2 x plus f3 psi 3 x. How did you write psi 3 x? You just wrote this function in the form of f1, f2, f3. It's a column matrix. So this A1 AQ is nothing but a column matrix. You see that? So this is a column matrix, of course, right? So Q1, Q2, Q3, you understand Q1, meaning of Q1, Q2, Q3 is equal to, so just verify this. So this is a QA1, this is a matrix of, so you can write Q1 just for understanding, Q1, Q2, Q3, and then what is FQN? What kind of a matrix is FQN? What kind of a matrix is FQN?
It's a square matrix.
Very good. So it's a square matrix, right? So you can write F11, F12, F21, F22. And then what kind of a matrix is this?
The column matrix.
It will be another column matrix, right? A1 prime, A2 prime, A3 prime, right? So this is the structure of your operator equation in the form of the matrix equation. Is that clear to everybody? Sabko samajh aaya? So that means you can see that lot of things to be realized from this expression. Actually, this matrix equation takes you from N to Q. You see, you started with Q, okay? It takes you from N to Q. Sorry, you can think about this as Q to N and N to N prime, right? So this wave function that you wrote, this AQ is the fingerprint of the wave function. This is the fingerprint of the operator F. And this guy is the fingerprint of this psi prime, which has to be, because you have already given that is the notation, but provide everything is fine, provided you specify a basis set, because everything is understood that it is happening in this basis set, all your equations. So this means there is a matrix equation. You know the definition of AQ, you know the definition of N prime, you know the definition of FQN, right? Is that clear? So you can go from Q to N and N to N prime, okay? So the matrix representation F actually is connecting from Q to N space of the operator. Okay? Is that clear? So just to make sure you have no confusion, so FQN is the general for psi Q star F psi N d time. So I have defined a representation A, I have defined a representation X. Now tell me what will happen to, I think we can skip a little bit. We can go to the interesting stuff, the last part. So if I take the representation of H, that means what? You must have heard about these two terms called energy representation, position representation, momentum representation. ये सब सुने हो तुम लोग, right? So what is the meaning of this? If I take the energy representation, in the energy representation, right, your Hamiltonian should have a diagonal matrix. Okay? In the position, so if I take this as basis, say suppose I take this, let me test this question. Suppose this is my basis. So what is this? The particle in a box wave function means root over 2 by a sine, etc. I am not writing. So this is psi n pi b. Okay, so in this representation, you can see that my Hamiltonian will be obviously diagonal. There is no question. So if I take this basis as, say, suppose harmonic oscillator. All of you have studied harmonic oscillator also. So what does that mean? Suppose my basis is now represented by the Hermite polynomial. So e to the power minus zeta square over 2 a0 h0 zeta a1 h1 zeta a2 h2 zeta. So these are the Hermite polynomials. Okay, so suppose this is my basis. What will be the, so h and zeta, what is h and zeta? H and zeta is the nth order Hermite polynomial. Harmonic oscillator wave functions will be written right like this, right? So what is the representation of Hamiltonian in this basis? That's the question. What should I write for the Hamiltonian matrix? In this representation, what is the representation of Hamiltonian in this basis? Just even if you do not understand anything, you still can understand, no? This Hamiltonian matrix will be represented by what? Basically, this is the basis. If your basis, that is it, right? So psi m h psi n, right? What is psi m? Psi m is, this is my basis. Even if you forgot, even if you don't know anything, you still can answer that question by looking at here. So psi m h psi n, right? This is my harmonic oscillator Hamiltonian. Psi m h psi n. What will go is psi n? क्या होने वाला है? H psi 1 in the harmonic oscillator problem will be what? What will happen to H psi 1? Where psi 1 is the harmonic oscillator basis, the first state, you know. What will happen? Adrija, can you tell?
Sir, it will be half H omega.
So what should I write here? Just tell me, what is the structure of this matrix?
It will be a diagonal matrix only.
Then, and what will be the diagonals?
First is like n plus half H omega. So first one will be half, then the second one is 3/2, 5/2, like that.
So that is, thank you. So this is the representation of the Hamiltonian in this basis. Okay, the nth term will be 2n plus 1/2. ठीक है? Okay, I think we'll stop here. In the next class, we'll just take one little example of the angular momentum operators and their. So Hamiltonian के लिए हमने काफी सारे matrix लिखा है, right? In the several bases. So in the next class, we'll actually work out the matrices for L square and LG. ठीक है? After we finish that, so that will be just very basic stuff, and then we'll go to the important theorems in quantum mechanics, the variational problem and perturbation problem, okay, which you need to solve the realistic problems. So variational theorem and perturbation theorem. Just to keep it in mind, can you tell me if you have studied, तुम लोग पढ़े हो क्या? Variational theorem and perturbation method? Did you have any chance to read in any class? Variational problem and perturbation theorem? No, sir. Okay, very good. So then we have to, so please read books. Please read books. So tomorrow we'll start variational problem. Okay. We'll finish this guy and then we'll go to the variational theorem. Okay. Which is the real tool that you need to learn. Okay. If there is any question or comments. Your assignments, I have already cleared your assignments. So no need to worry, no need to be worried, and no need to be under depression, anxiety, and that kind of stuff. Any other confusion you have? Okay. So then I think we'll stop today, okay? I'll see you tomorrow.
Sir,
Bolo?
this matrix representation, is it from Levin's book? Can you mention the book, please?
Acha, matrix representation, maybe Levin's book may not be, I am sure it must be there, but you can read some other books, where Levin may not be so good. It is sure, definitely it's there, but it may not be so clear. But you can look at the book by Park, or you can look at the book by, say, okay, Marsbecker, or say you can look at the book by, which book, maybe tomorrow I can tell you some more names, okay? Which one is very easy to read? But of course you can always look at Brand-Steinjua chain. Okay, that book is always there. ठीक है, कल मैं तुमको बताऊंगा और कोई नाम.
Okay.
ठीक है, but
Thank you,
any
sir.
book would be good. Please take a look at some books. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.